EA Sports just released a bunch of new information about College Football 26, mostly regarding the presentation of the game, and there's a lot of improvements that I'm going to go over right now. But before I do, as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, they do have a deep dive trailer coming tomorrow for Dynasty, and I plan on doing a video about this as well. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. Other than that, let's go right into the video. Now, a lot of the stuff that's in this is already stuff that we know about, that just elaborate. Like, we already know about how they're going to have dynamic lighting. It talks a little bit more in depth here, where it says a 6 p.m. kickoff in Chestnut Hill will look different from a 6 p.m. kickoff in Austin, reflecting each location's unique lighting. And it also says seasonal time of day. Games in November will get darker sooner than games in September, adding a realism tied into the time of year. For example, a game that starts at 3:30 in Happy Valley in September will have the sun up at 5 p.m., but a game in November, the sun will be down as the game is ending. So there's definitely, they're just elaborating on that. We already know a little bit more about that, but there's a lot of new information when it comes to the pageantry and mascots, as they add a ton of new mascots. It also says they add a bunch of new runouts, tailoring the pregame experience this year. We've upgraded runouts, introducing a tiered system that adapts to the game's context and reflects each program's individuality, whether it's a primetime game, a rivalry steeped in history, or a matchup in your road to glory grind. Our new runout system ensures that every game is tailored to the moment. It says epic runouts, primetime pageantry. It says reserved for special night games across iconic locations. Epic runouts aim to create the best primetime experiences. These sequences include light and drone shows, drawing from many real-world references. The focus is to immerse players in a thrilling atmosphere of a major matchup, with the lights dimmed, phones out, and cocky at center stage, hyping up the crowd at South Carolina University, where the stakes are high and the energy hits levels at an all-time high. Now it says bringing pageantry to life, the role of light and drone shows. It says one standout feature is the light and drone shows in the pregame experience. These visuals are inspired by reality and tailored to each team, adding authenticity and excitement to the game. It says teams with light shows include Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Nebraska, South Carolina, Tennessee, NC State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Texas State, UCF, Boston College, Notre Dame, Rutgers, and UCLA. Now, I don't know if there's any other teams, but these are the only ones that they mentioned. Maybe they'll add some throughout the year, but if your favorite team wasn't mentioned, you might not have that. It goes just a little bit further to say specifically what some of these teams are going to have. Alabama, the stadium lights up in red, creating a bold vision that matches the Crimson Tide's strength. Tennessee, the light up T shines bright, capturing the spirit of the Volunteers. North Carolina, spotlights move across the field, adding drama to the Tar Heels entrance. It also talks about a separate drone show, which is separate from the light show, as that the drone shows elevate the spectacle, merging technology with school pride. These aerial displays create intricate shapes and patterns that celebrate the team's identity. For example, Clemson's drones will form a tiger paw in the sky. Now, they also have a list here of teams that have drone shows, including Arizona State, Cal, Florida, LSU, Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, and Nebraska. These shows display intricate aerial patterns that blend advanced technology with school pride. For example, and they break down a couple here where they say Texas has the drones create the famous Longhorn logo in the sky, making a stunning visual. LSU has them illustrate the purple and gold designs. It says overall the epic runouts focuses on the spectacle of college football, providing a cinematic experience that captures the excitement of each school's atmosphere under the lights. Now, for me, my only real issue with this is, it's not a big issue, but it seems like when they said that they were going to have the pay scale based off of what teams get used most in college football, like the university will get the most money based on teams that use most. Teams with drone shows and really good runouts and stuff like that might get used slightly more than teams without. My other issue is when I think of Ohio State, I don't think of a drone show. I think of their band, as they have a world famous band that does all these really cool things, and I'm still waiting for that to get put in the game. They do have some images about band formations and stuff like that I'll get into later, but I'm going to continue forward here with the traditional standard runouts. It says traditional and atmosphere are what we all know and love, and team runouts build on the foundation of last year's sequences, incorporating more traditions and new mascots. These celebrate each program's unique rituals, bringing the spectacle of college football to life. It says, it gives examples once again, Ohio and Utah. It says motorcycles lead the runout, adding power and excitement to the entrance. South Carolina, the iconic Cockaboose arrives, which is what we saw in one of the previous trailers, celebrating the Gamecocks' unique tradition. It says Oklahoma Sooner Schooner, the cherished wagon, rides onto the field representing the spirit of the Sooners, and it talks about those three, but I don't know how many more it adds because it really doesn't say. Now they also have quick runouts that are designed for just like a shorter version for Road to College Football playoffs, and also when you're playing in Dynasty mode for like unranked CPU games at home. One of the coolest things that I read in this entire thing about Road to Glory runouts is you're basically going to be controlling the character's head. I don't know if you control his movement, but you're going to be able to, look left to right when you're coming out of the tunnel, and as you're running onto the field and there's fireworks going off or the light show's going off, you're going to be able to look around to really make it a unique experience when you're coming out of the tunnel as a player, especially doing something like that during like a championship game experience. Now, I did mention band formations earlier. It really just says also keep an eye out for the iconic pregame band formations across teams such as Illinois, Appalachian State, Minnesota, Penn State, PSU, Louisiana, Lafayette, and many, many more. Now, it didn't specifically mention Ohio State, and like I said, I feel like Ohio State's probably the most well-known band. Maybe I'm wrong. I know that, I think they would have mentioned them, as they did mention Ohio State twice in the light show and the drone show. So Ohio State's getting, they're one of the few teams that gets both in that regard. But like I said, I just don't know if they're going to be dipping into their, I don't know if they're going to have to pay extra money to get Ohio State's band in the game. I don't really know what the issue is. Maybe I'm making too much of it. Now, it does also talk about mascots, as they really added a large amount of mascots. Now, they got Utah's mascot, Iowa State's mascot, Arkansas, Duke, Kansas and Kansas State, Mississippi State, Boise State, Boston College, Louisville, Pittsburgh, SMU, Army and Navy, NC State, Ohio, East Carolina, South Florida, Northwestern, Washington State and Oregon State, Rutgers, Kentucky, Missouri, Air Force, Arizona, Baylor, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Akron, Bowling Green, Wyoming, Colorado State, Coastal Carolina, and the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which apparently has a Pop-Tart as its mascot. He'll be running around, and I have seen that before, the Pop-Tart mascot. But you can see that they added, and I really didn't count, but it's probably like 30 different mascots that were in the game last year. And I would imagine they mentioned all the ones that they added since they gave you a full list. So if you didn't see your favorite mascot, he's probably not still in the game in the upcoming season. Then they go into the different touchdown and turnover traditional celebrations that a lot of teams have. As they go into the ones that they have there, Texas and Arizona have the turnover swords, the Akron turnover tire, which we already saw in the trailer. We already have Georgia's Savage pads, which we saw in the trailer as well, the golden spiked pads. We also got TCU Horn Frog. The Horn Frog celebrates touchdowns with the Horn Frog, a beloved tradition among fans and players. It says Oklahoma State paddles. It says the fans celebrate with their symbolic paddles, showing their passion in Stillwater. It says Liberty player hand sign. It says Liberty players signal with a unique hand sign after big plays, showcasing the program's pride and unity. Nebraska balloons. After a touchdown, Nebraska fans release balloons into the sky, creating a cherished visual celebration, plus many more. That's really cool. This is this type of stuff that I'm talking about. I already mentioned in one of the previous videos that I did that one of my concerns is I didn't really see much of a reaction from the crowd when they showed a 7-second game clip of Penn State scoring against Ohio State in the late fourth quarter, and it was like a go-ahead touchdown, and I just didn't see like the crowd react as he was running in for the touchdown, which I thought was kind of strange. And that's one of the things that I think that the game needs to improve on the most is the crowd reaction to the plays. They did say that they added crowd noise to big hits, which is something that we're going to see this year. But as far as reacting to big plays, that's something like in real time that I still don't know if it is a part of the game. But we'll see how well they implement that, because even that trailer didn't have audio. You just saw the crowd not really getting up and reacting or anything like that. So that's something that's definitely cool. They talk about rivalries, as obviously rivalry games are a big part of the game. Especially when it comes to real life, although they really don't go into too much detail. They just talk about how they're just building on last year's foundation as far as that's concerned. And they're going to talk about that more in tomorrow's deep dive about Dynasty. Same thing about player authenticity. It doesn't really talk about that too much. But it says that they improved the fidelity for all players' heads with newly upgraded machine learning based pipeline. They do talk about expanded body types, so like if there's we saw that in the Madden trailer too, where there's just going to be more diversity when it comes to how player body types look. They have just more options. And then they talk about the music, and they talk about marching bands once again, where they're really just talking about like the drumline songs that we hear in the menus, where it says that they tried to add a bunch of fight songs and stuff like that as well to try to break that up. And they also talk about how they basically recorded a bunch of new drumline features for the menus. But it's like, I mean, we do spend a lot of time in the menus, but still. They talk about how they recorded 160 new crowd chants to feature in-game and across all modes. Yes, even in high school for Road to Glory will be chants. They talk about how they created a new super fan, like to try to have more diverse super fans, considering that there was a meme last year was the same super fan in every single stadium, no matter what stadium you played. And they talk about how they tried to create more just fans in general, more player or more face scans for fans to try to make it a little bit more diverse, because people were picking out that it's like the exact same face scans. They said they have 1,700 plus new heads for secondary characters. They even talk about strand hair with simulation and all kind of nonsense, which is just like who cares? A lot of stuff is like, this doesn't have to be so wordy, and I'm not trying to make this video that long, so I'm gonna end it there. If you guys want to see more videos like this, like I said, I have that pop up on screen, some other information that I put out from these games, but I'm also gonna be making a video tomorrow once the deep dive trailer drops for Dynasty, so make sure to be a subscriber. Other than that, thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.